Palmistry reading of a 25-year-old lady. We are reading her hand, and before we start the video, I would request you to press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update. You can call me or you can email me. These are the phone number and the email that are mentioned on the screen. You can note it down and you can call or email. I would respond to you. And now we straight away head to this particular hand image that we have in front of us. This is basically the left hand, and now this lady had few questions regarding a government job, and will she get a government job? This is one question. The second thing is she mentioned that she is into mathematics, and she wants to know if she will be an educator in the government job. So this is the main question that we would be answering first. See, first we are taking a look at the left hand, and then we would also take a look at the right hand as well. In women, normally it is said that we should take the look at the left hand, but in my case, what I do is that I take a look at both the hands to come to the final conclusion. It's not one hand, but both the hands I consider while giving a reading. So the area for government and governance. See, government is a very limited word, but governance is a wider word. Wider word, what we say is that the first finger, the finger of Jupiter. Jupiter is a big planet. Big planet in one's life basically mean growth, expansion in your life, honor in your life, growth in your life. All these things are basically represented by the Jupiter finger, the first finger, the pointing finger. You would notice that people who are in governance, people who are in politics or administration or even religion, they are the ones basically they are pointing the fingers and delegating the work. So this is also the area of delegation of work. This is also the area of governance, administration, all these kind of things, and systems also. So if a person has got a good amount of Jupiter, what is a good amount of Jupiter? A good amount of Jupiter is a amount that is appearing to be well padded. Well padded. There are many criteria what could be a good amount, and one of the criteria is that area should be padded. Padding over a particular amount would basically signify that those qualities of that particular planet. Right now we are talking about Jupiter, so the qualities of Jupiter are going to come into play more in this particular person's life. So, and the person, because of having these qualities, the person is likely to move into this particular direction of government or governance. See, government is a limited word, governance is a wider word, where even in private sector there's governance. Even in a NGO, non-government organization, or a non-profit organization, everywhere there is basically use of governance. If there's not good governance, the likelihood of making mistakes basically increases, and lack of governance would mean that that organization is not going to prosper as much as it can. So systems and all these things come into play. Systems, administration, politics, honor, all these things come into play with Jupiter. And if this area is well padded, it means more qualities coming into this particular person. And you can notice yourself that this first area under the first finger is appearing to be well padded. The second good indication that we see is that there is an upward line pointing towards the mount of Jupiter. Again, this is another good indication. The reason why we say this is a good indication, because this is the headline and this is the lifeline. So any line moving backward, you can say moving backward, or you can say originating from the mount of Jupiter and joining the headline or the lifeline, means that the person, if it's joining the headline, it means that the person's thought process is getting guided by Jupiter. That means moving towards high position and honor. And if it originates, if it joins the lifeline, it means that the life is getting guided by Jupiter. So both these things basically are good indications. So a person who seeks governance is likely to get to go more into governance. So there's a huge possibility, and it's a good sign for a government job. The first thing, now a government job would be given to people who are intelligent also. It's not going to be, see, some it's not like that purely just by a good amount of Jupiter and a good Jupiter line everything is going to be fine. It's a combination of many other aspects on your palm that would signify that when the chances for what other good signs are there that is going to take the person closer to a government job, and that is basically the area of Mercury. Now the area of Mercury is the area of skill, communication. It is the area of statistics, it is the area of economics, biology, chemistry, mathematics, everything, basically anything to do with skill, anything to do with networking, everything basically is governed by Mercury, and Mercury is basically skill. So a person who has got good set of skills, the chances for their success increases, not just in the field of mathematics, it can be business or any other field as well. So you would notice that this area appears to be well padded, appearing to be hugely well padded. See, normally what happens is that if you look at anybody's hands, you would notice that this area, the area of Venus, appears to be the most padded area of the palm. And this is in most people's cases. Even with a very less prominent Venus, would also appear to be more kind of prominent kind. So but you would notice that the area under the fingers, very few people have padding under the fingers, and padding of the under the fingers should be seen is considered to be good when you see it under the first and the fourth finger. It is not good to have padding under the second finger. This is the finger of Saturn. Finger of Saturn is the area for money management, wisdom. This is also the area of being realistic, being grounded, and also the negative signs are depression, and also this area should never be padded. So this area, you would notice that this is not the padded area, under the first finger, the second finger, the finger of Saturn. Now the area of Mount of Mercury is well padded. It means that the person's memory is likely to be extremely good. The analytical skills are going to be good. The mathematical skills are going to be good. See, it's not that people who are just into statistics and mathematics, only they know mathematics and all these things. Even something like a person who has never read statistics, something like, let's take an example of a cricket player. So even a cricket player is basically playing on statistics. They know the ball is going to come in a certain way and they have got to play in a certain way. So it's all playing in their mind without that numbers. It could be in some other way the person is basically analyzing. So this is the area of your skill, the ability to sharpen yourselves on all these things are represented by the Mercury mount. You would notice that there's a perpendicular line out here. When there are perpendicular lines and a line kind of going from here, from close to the lifeline towards the Mercury mount, all these things, all these lines are basically Mercury lines, and these are fairly good lines, and it basically signifies a person who is constantly sharpening their skills. Notice one more thing in your hand, in this particular hand. You would notice that if you just look at the whole palm, you would notice that this area is appearing to be jutting upward. But okay, this area is the highest and these areas are comparatively low. So the Jupiter mount again becomes more prominent due to this particular reason, and the chances for higher person getting a government job or moving towards a government job increases. It's not that everything falls into the lap of a person. You have to basically work for it, and this person is likely to work towards it. That's the reason why he's going to get it, she's going to get it. So this is one part. Now we take a look at another aspect, and that is on the line of money. See, on the line of money, you would notice this is the line of money, possessions and wealth. These are basically the line, any line moving towards the mount of Saturn is basically money. There's another money line, so these are the money line, and this is the sun line. And this is the headline. So this portion of the money line is before the age of 35. Below the headline is before the age of 35. You would notice 2 or 3 things. One is that the line starts on the mount of moon. Any line, the money line starting on the mount of moon basically signifies that the person is likely to gain from trading activities, service industry, from help from male members. It could be brother, it could be father, it could be husband, it could be anybody. So this is one part. Or unknown people. In unknown people, it could be foreigner. In foreigners, it could be male and female both. So this is one part. The second part is that there appears to be a branch-like thing leaning a little bit inward kind, pointing towards the mount of Mars, from a branch like from the main money line pointing towards the mount of Mars. This is a little bit negative, and this line is coming somewhere. This line is kind of originating somewhere close to the age of 29. That's the approximate, I would say. And somewhere a little bit further, if you notice, I'm just zooming in, and there's a branch like thing kind of joining out here, and one is going outward. Then there's another one joining, and this joining is somewhere close to the age of out here on the money line. The age is approximately 30 31. That I would say 30 31. And just at this particular point on the money line, you would notice that there's a V-like formation, one line going towards the sun mount and the other moving towards the Mercury mount. So this point becomes a significant period in one's life, and probably that's the time when the person is likely to get a government job or move towards a government job. So this is when it's likely to, there's a good possibility it might happen at that particular age. As far as the sun line goes, in the initial start it is reasonably good until it reaches somewhere in the middle of the headline and the heart line till the age of 44, and as it touches the line of heart, it is age 53. So somewhere after the age of 44, the line becomes a little bit dim, and from 44 to 53 it's not so good, but beyond the heart line and below the fingers, you would notice that the line of sun is excellent. It is deep and clear. Deep and clear sunline basically signifies that the person is energizing their work, and the person who is energizing their work, the chances for their success increases because they are energizing. Many people call the sun line as the name and fame line. People call it as the line of luck. I don't call them as the line of luck or name and fame, although I do not disagree with them. Other people, it is basically how much energies you're putting to your work. When we find that the line is dim, we say that the person is not energizing the work as much the person should be doing. Now, as far as the headline and the heart line goes, both are quite balanced, like they're equal length and there are no as such bad markings. Just at the intersection of the money and the headline, this portion is 835. So this portion of the headline, you would notice that there are few backward kind of lines, small backward lines pointing towards the mount of Mars negative. This is just a name. Mars negative is just a name. So Mars negative is the area of anger, aggression and fire. So the headline that moves towards that particular direction means some amount of aggression comes into this particular person's mind. This is all happening before the age of 35. And you would notice one more thing, that on the heart line, this is the heart line, there are a few branches out here, so the person might be getting distracted, but these branches are relatively very weak kind of branches. So when they are weak branches, we don't say that it's too much negative, although the branches that lean downward from the heart line, they are a little bit negative. What it does is the person is losing their focus, but because it's not so bad, so I've just tried to explain it. Don't think that it's really bad. So it's just mildly bad because the person is getting distracted. Now we just take a look at the other hand images that the person has said. The person wanted to know when she's going to get married. And just give me one moment. I am trying to take a look at her. She had given me her date of birth, and I'll just calculate through her date of birth and the I will calculate through her date of birth and on the hand as well. 2020 minus 1995, so she's 25 right now. Her important number is, according to her day of birth, is 6. I won't reveal the day she was born, but it is 6. So any age adding up to 6 is going to be important. So the or 3, 6, or this thing. So probably the age 30 is going to be important. 27 is going to be important. So those are the years where good possibility may emerge. And see, normally what people do is they send the side of the palm, thinking that we would come to know from this portion of the palm when the person is going to get married. Yes, to some extent it is there, but I've seen practically that many a times it doesn't get applied completely. Many people, they have 2 or 3 lines and they are total bachelors. So and they never get married. And sometimes people have got 3 lines, yet they might not have had even a single relationship, even that thing I've seen practically. But at the same time, we can say that it could be one-sided attachment or two-sided attachment. So these lines could mean both one-sided, two-sided attachments as well. Not they might convert into marriage and they might not convert into marriage. So the line that is towards the last, this is appearing to be the deepest and the most clear. So probably this is the age. 27 or 30 is going to be the age when she is likely to get married. I'm just going to close this particular hand image because it's not required. And this image we have already seen. People think that we can't see like lines on the on a Mehndi hand, but we still can see a few lines. You can basically notice that the lines we can distinguish. So this is I'm just taking few other hand images, closing the ones that I do not require right now. Now we have the right hand image right now out here in front of us, and on the right hand, I'll just try to tell you a few things briefly. I'll just take a look at this hand image also. You notice the bulge, the huge bulge on the Mercury mount. Very few people have it. This is an excellent sign for anybody into teaching line, being a professor, or even in business or engineering, any medical science, anything. It's a beautiful sign to have this kind of a bulge. Very few people are going to be having such a thing. It's all about the storehouse of knowledge. This is the storehouse, and if the storehouse is well padded, it means huge knowledge can be accumulated in that particular storehouse. So there are few like on this Mehndi, and also you can find that you can see few lines. I'm just going to try to show you. This is the lifeline, and you would notice that there are few upward kind of lines pointing towards the finger. See, upward lines pointing towards the finger are considered to be good. It means being lucky. This age, and this is all happening at an early age. Early age is all before the age of 40. So if these upward lines are showing up on your palm at the initial stage of the life, that's when we are building our life. And during our build-up of our life, if we are also lucky, we are gaining something, it adds up to our success, because that's when we have the maximum energies, and people can utilize this maximum energy to better their life. So this is a good aspect that that I could see on the right hand. You would also notice one moment, I'll just try to tweak the image a little bit. I'm just playing around with levels on the in my Photoshop and trying to tweak the image a little bit. So I just wanted to tell out here that this is the headline. I've already talked about the upward line pointing towards the Mount of Jupiter, and this is also seen in the left as well as right hand. This is the right hand, and you would notice that there are few upward lines also pointing upward towards the Mercury Mount. Even see a headline or any line that moves upward towards a finger, those lines are considered to be good. What happens is that we consider the fingers to be the sky upward, and the base of the palm is basically the earth and the gravity. And if the lines from the head they move upward, it means some jubilation or some success happening in a person's life. And all this thing is happening before the age of 35, before this intersection of the money and the headline. So before this these things are happening, and this upward, basically what it would actually mean for this particular person, because this lady had a specific question of a government job. So these upward lines could mean one of the things, getting a government job, or it could also mean that some other kind of success is coming to this particular person, which basically satisfies this particular lady. So this is what, and upward lines is purely success gains coming to the person. You would notice also on the right hand as well, on the area of Mercury, these quite clear lines of Mercury, perpendicular lines. You would also notice a very weak kind of a line. See, weak lines are of no use. Weak lines means that we are not sharpening our skills. And a stronger line, I'm just zooming in so that you can also see it on your mobile screen. If people who are seeing on the mobile, you will notice that there are strong lines out here, and this is a comparatively weaker line. So strong lines means that the person is sharpening their skills. Weak lines basically mean that the person needs to sharpen their skills further. As far as the sun line goes, you would notice that the sun line is again starting somewhere at the same stage where it was starting on the left hand. So somewhere at the age of 30 approximately, that's when the maximum benefits of this particular line might come to this particular person. Out here there's a little bit different kind of lines which I'm just going to point out here. This is one line of money, this is another line of money, and this is third line of money. So 2 or 3 parallel lines. So having 2 or 3 parallel lines sometimes might not necessarily mean 2 or 3 different sources of income. It could purely mean that some kind of a support is there. It could also mean double or triple income, and this is all happening before the age of 35. So it could mean something related to the things I've just mentioned. And briefly, I'm just going to take a look, one last look, and then I would end my video. And on the lifeline towards the end, you would notice a branch like pointing towards the Mount of Moon. So this could be health loss or wealth loss during that particular period. This point is approximately 60. That's an approximate age, but every time it doesn't mean loss. It could also mean the person gets restless. So this could be one part. The other part is, this is the headline. I've talked about the upward lines. This I have already spoken, but you would notice that there's also a downward line. This is at a later stage, somewhere after the age of 50, 55. Downward lines means some amount of disappointment. If we take a look at the heart and the headline, this is the headline and this is the heartline. So the headline appears to be very long. It means a very, very headstrong kind of a person, and a person who creates strong mental boundaries. So in some ways it's good, and in some ways it's not so good to create strong mental boundaries, because then you can't leap over the boundaries. So it's not the headline. People think that it is for intelligence, but it is not for intelligence. It is for your thought process, how your thought process is going to be playing out. Your intelligence comes from the Mount of Mercury and not from the headline. Even with a short headline, the person can be hugely good. So it's not required to have a very headline, but if it is there, it's all okay. It gives mental strength. The heartline as such is reasonably okay. There is a branch-like thing pointing towards the headline. This is a little bit negative. It means some misplaced affection who might be of no use. So person needs to be a little bit careful to whom the person gives their emotions to. And although the good part is the whole line is not kind of leaning towards it. It's just a small, the line of heart is somewhere ending out here and a branch is hanging downwards. So there's a difference between both these things. So I'll just now end my video right here, and I would just repeat few things in the video that I repeat in almost all my videos. That is, you can come to know about money, possession and wealth from any aspect of our palm. It could be our headline, heartline, lifeline, sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, or any other line or any other mount. Money, we can come to know only 15% of how much money we are going to make on the money line. So it's not the money line that is important. All lines are important, and every line can talk something or the other about the money aspect, if this is what people want to know. A saint once said, you do not need to go to an astrologer or a palmist to know about your future, because you already know your future. Present is a result of past. How will be my future? Future depends upon what you are doing in the present. What are we? We are product of our thoughts. So the thoughts that come to our mind are really important. Keep positive thoughts, keep good company. That's what matters the most. Some people may have excellent hand, but if they have bad company, and specifically at a young age, they would not reap the result. They are going to go in the wrong direction. So company matters the most. Thanks for watching this video. Bye and take care, and do subscribe to my channel, and do give your precious comment down below in the comment section. Bye, take care.